Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Here we'll see how to build a custom tab bar like this, the one that we have over here, and we'll also see how to load data or async data, load data from server using these tabs. Whenever you click on them, they will load data from the server. So without further ado, let's get started. Now over here we need to use a UI code, the code for our UI that would look like this. And after that, actually we're gonna launch our app in this simulator, which is Android simulator. Now the initial code is this one, and actually you may get it from the link below. Now over here we have this widget name is head tabs. I'm going to explain and walk you through the code over here. Now first we want to actually call it from our column over here. So here I have this basic stateless class. Inside this I have this build method. Inside this I have this build method, scaffold, safe area, center, column, and inside the column actually I put this widget function, the one that I have defined at the top. And if we go ahead and run the app, it may look like this currently, and this is what actually we wanted. But of course you can use this one in your app bar as well. You can use it anywhere you want in your app, because this is independent customized tab bar. Now let's walk you through with this. Well, now over here we want to put everything in the center of this container, so that's why we have this one. We'll see if you take this out what happens. Now this is the basic container, and the container width I have given over here 320, so which is pretty much this one. And then this is the height, and after that we have a bit of styling over here and a background color. Now the background color itself is quite important. Now over here, as you see that the color has set to gray color over here, and this is the gray color we see, and we also have a border radius. So this is the decoration, and this is also like our background color. Okay, all right. And after that we have a child, and in the child we have this row. Now why we have this row? Because we want to actually have two buttons over here next to each other. Right now we only have one, and it's okay, we're gonna make it two very soon. Now each of the buttons would be clickable, so that's why we have this gesture detector over here, as you can see, and inside this we have a container. Now inside the container, this container actually represents this first button over here, as you can see, and we have given it a width like 150 and height is 40. All right, okay, so this is the container, and inside the container we still have basic styling, and then we have this box decoration. Now this box decoration actually shows the color over here, as you can see, the white color, or this is also our foreground color. And inside this we have a bit of shadow. Foreground color has been set to white. And after that we have this row one more time inside this child as a child. Now why we have this row over here? The reason is because we want to set this chat, this word, this string in the middle of this container. And the way I did it over here, using a row, and then just put a text inside it, and we are good to go. All right, so this is the basic UI. Now we're gonna make it like two tabs. Right now we have one tab. Of course you can put as many tabs as you want, because we are inside this row. But of course in that case, if you want a lot of tabs, you have to change this width over here. Now I'm going to copy this one from here. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to put it right below it, and then we'll see that we'll have two tabs. All right, great. And the second tab itself, we want to change the name. Instead of chat, this one, instead of chat, we want to make it like, say, call. Okay, so I'm going to change it, and I'll say it call. All right, okay. So now with this we have two tabs ready. But from here, if you want to have more tabs, just to change this width, of course it would be smaller. Okay, all right, so these two tabs are available right now, and we want to make it first we want to make it like toggle. So we would be clicking on this, and this would disappears, or if we click on this would disappears, just like we have seen over here. Okay, like this. So we want to have like this. Okay, and this toggling would be doing using Flutter BLoc. So make sure that you have these two packages, Flutter BLoc and Equitable, they're installed. All right, now the first thing we want to do, we want to go ahead and create a new file over here, and we're gonna call it data repository.dart. So inside this file would be loading our data, and then we'll have another file, and that file would be about our app states. So here we do app states.dart, and then we will also have a file for our events. So here we would say app events.dart, and then we also need to connect events and states together, which we'll call app blocs.dart. all right, now the first thing we'd be doing from our app states over here, we need a variable to toggle between them, like maintain the state and the toggling. So we need a variable to do that. Make sure that at the top you import this Equitable, and then over here this is our app state class, which will hold our state, like our data that would be we toggling. So that's our state data or shared data, and over here we declared a variable which is tab status. Now this is the variable that we want to toggle. Now we have an initial value which is tab status true, so default value is true. Now this is the constructor we would be calling from our app blocks. So when you create app blocks, which is this file, when we'll combine states and events together, we'll call this constructor and it would be the default value. And later on we want to change the values, toggle the value. We'll call this method which is called change tab, and then of course because we are using Equitable, so we need to override some of the properties, which is list object. The props is this one, the one that we want to use for state management. Now with this, our app states, the variable, are ready. Now we'll go ahead and do our app events. Now we need to make sure that at the top we import it. All right, so we have this app events, but the events that we are going to use is actually this one, change tab, because this is the event that we are going to call, and if we call this event, eventually we would be able to call this change tab over here. So only one event that we are going to use, and because this is an abstract class, we need to have one, but the one that we are going to use, this class change tab. Now this is the constructor. Once again, this one would also be calling, but actually when you call this event, this would get called automatically. Now this is the time we go ahead and do our app blocks. So this is our app blocks class, and of course we know that if you create a block for your app, you need the events and states. That's what we did over here, and at the same time we initialize the state classes, which is this one, and we know that if we call this, the default value true would get initialized. And at the same time over here we do see that we also have an event. The event name is change tab, and this is the event that we would be calling. So if we call this event, eventually we can also call this method over here, and as we call this method, this new state would be emitting, where actually we would be changing the value. So over here, as you see, we would change the value and the state would be emitting. So whatever the value is there, if it was originally true, then over here we do it false, because we just negate it using this negate operator. All right, so now with this, our app blocks is ready. Now actually we can go ahead and use it. Now of course I know we made a repository class, and this is the one that we are going to use later, data repository. Now over here we have this head tabs. Now we know that head tabs is coming from this inside this column. Okay, great. Now we also have at the top our material app. So you want to inject our blocks in our app. So, and we want to do it at the very top. So over here we do bloc provider, and we know we use bloc provider to inject our blocks, the block that we have, the block that we have created. Now over here we need to pass the context, and after that we can just simply call our block, which is our app blocks, this one. And with this we are pretty good. And after this over here we wanna do child. So what is our child? A child would be the one that we had, so material app. Now with this, this way our block is injected. Now this is our child, and this child want to use this blocks, the blocks that we have created, which means that it wants to access this events as well as the states within this blocks. For this reason, over here inside this inside this home page, we have to find somewhere where we want to actually call this blocks or use this blocks. Now one of the good place would be like this one over here, so I'm going to cut this one, or actually we can also do this one over here. We don't need to be reactive for this widgets because this widgets doesn't have anything. Over here we do block builder because we want to access our blocks, and then over here block. Now over here we need to assign our context and state. Now before that we need to mention our block type. So what is our block? Our block is app blocks, and then we also have to assign our state, which is app states, this one. If you don't understand what are these things, you should follow my other basic tutorials about blocks, because I'm not going to repeat these things over here. Anyway, so now inside this over here, now we can pass context and state. Now after that we can just simply return from here, return like this. And what do you want to return? You want to return had tabs, the one that we had early. Okay, and that's it. So this is the widget that we want to be reactive for, and we wrap this around this blocks and state so that we could be reactive, so that we can access the context, which means that the stateful context, and we can access the state at the same time. All right, but of course if we're going to go ahead and call right now restart our app, nothing's gonna happen changed because we want to toggle between them. But now since we can access the state of our app, we can toggle right now, and to be able to do that we need to come inside over here. Now over here inside this gesture detector, we want to toggle between this border and box decoration actually. So I'm going to cut this one, and from here I'm going to do block provider dot off, and over here we need to mention our block type, which is app blocks, and then we need to mention the context, and after that over here we can just simply go ahead and call the related method or the states. Now over here we do state, and after that it can access tab status. If tab status is true, then we do our default value, we do our box decoration, the styled one. Otherwise we're gonna show one box decoration, the default one, which means which has default style or no style. Okay, so now with this block provider dot off we can access the states from our blocks, which is this one over here. And as we can do that, we'd be able to change and toggle, but there's a problem. So we need to pass the context. So this had tabs being called, but it doesn't know which context to use so that it can find the state. Now we need to pass the context from over here. So simply go ahead and pass the context, and this is the context that we are passing, and then we will see that the arrow is gone. Now of course still nothing happens because we want to be able to make it reactive and toggle this value on the button click. Right now we don't have the button, so where to find the button? The button is actually over here. So inside this we can just simply go ahead and call block provider. Okay, here we do block provider dot off, and then we mention our blocks type, and then here we do context, and after that over here we can actually call a method. So what was our method? Our method was well actually it's not a method, we want to change or trigger an event. So we need to use the add function, and inside this we have to have our event. What is our event name? Our event name is change tab, I guess. Let me check inside from our blocks. So okay, this one with the capital letter. So let's come over here and change that. All right, now with this we are able to change it, but looks like we need to import it. Okay, and what else? With this the arrow is gone. Now let's go ahead and restart it one more time. This method over here gets called on the button click, right? So as we click the button, this event would get called, this event. Now related to this event, actually there is a method. This is the method, right? So this method would call initially internally change a tab, which would change the tab and toggle the value. That also means that as it toggles over here, it would become true or false, and then it would work as visible and invisible. So let's click on this. So it's right now, you see it's gone. You click again and it's come back. Now that's the first section, that how it worked, but of course we also need to work for our second button. So I'm going to copy this one and come down to this gesture detector, and then inside this we want to apply this condition, but this time the condition would be different. If that was true earlier, we showed the box decoration, but in this case, if this is true, we actually don't want to show, we want to hide it. So here we would say if this is false, then only show this one, otherwise you show the default one, which is this one, box decoration. Okay, great. All right, now if you restart it right now, you'll see that it's gone and this would be visible. Okay, great, because right now this tab is false for this one, right? So that's why. So right now this tab is true, so that's why it can't show the colored one. So it is showing the box decoration, the default one. But for first gesture detector, this is true, so that's why it's showing, right? Okay, because here we said that only false then show the colored one for the second one. Hopefully it makes sense. All right, and we also want to make it reactive over here so that we can toggle between them. So I'm going to put it over here, but of course this time we don't want to call the state variable. We want to add an event, and then here we would say change tab, and then let's go ahead and run it, and our arrow should be gone. Let's restart it one more time. All right, now we can toggle as we want. Beautiful. So that's how you create toggling effect and toggle them.
In my veins, I've been driving this train, years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame, cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed, all the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say, I don't push pause, no I push play, I won't stop till I make a change, I withdraw on the things I make, I turn flaws into flawless traits, I build tall, never capped in space, I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. And I'm up again, I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend, that's right, in the AM that's my only friend, no light, just the sun coming up on the horizon, I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb, a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines, and I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes, you snooze half the time while I move passing by, I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say, I don't push pause, no I push play, I won't stop till I make a change, I withdraw on the things I make, I turn flaws into flawless traits, I build tall, never capped in space, I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change.